Hello, I'm Dhruva Mehta. I'm a database journalist at 538 and a Democracy and Technology Fellow here at the Ash Center. 538 is a news site started by Nate Silver, a statistician who you may know from elections and polling coverage. Much of our reporting is based on statistics, numbers, and quantitative data. What is a database journalist, you may ask? It's quite simple. Database plus journalist equals database journalist. I build and maintain databases on polling, Congress, and other topics, but I also collect, analyze, and write about data, mostly pertaining to U.S. politics. At 538, the production of a large, data-driven story may involve a database journalist who scrapes data from the web and structures it, a computational journalist who helps to create statistical models, a visual journalist who does geospatial analysis and visualizes the data, a quantitative editor who will ensure that our analysis is robust, and many others working in pursuit of a data-driven story. Although we know how to code, we are all journalists. We also independently pitch and produce stories. We don't have a wall between developers, data people, and reporters. Data and visuals are not a service desk. We are journalists who code in the service of reporting and are involved from the very conception of a story. Journalism as a whole is moving this way. More and more J schools are starting to teach students how to code, realizing that we produce better journalism by having journalists who code rather than journalists who interface with people who code. For many of us, data and the web are our medium, and we should understand them well. Perhaps in some ways, a similar principle can carry over to government and policy school as well. Once a source that I was interviewing in government told me the government is just a series of applications that perform 4 basic functions: create, read, update, and delete records. In some ways, technology is often the medium through which policies are implemented. So, should we all learn to code? If you ask the web, you'll ride the emotional roller coaster that takes you from why every millennial should learn some code to please don't learn how to code to 10 life-changing reasons why you should learn to code. Regardless of if you plan to become a coder, I hope to demonstrate how tech literacy is helpful in navigating government in an age where every government program depends on technology to be implemented, where technical decisions are sometimes policy decisions in disguise, and policy decisions have hidden technical implications. I'm going to tell you about a course that I have had the opportunity to develop here at HKS, where policy students volunteered to roll up their sleeves and program computers. Woo-hoo! The hypothesis I was hoping to test was that for those who don't intend to write code for a living, having done it in the right context once will help teach crucial tech literacy skills. How can we prevent technical disasters in government? How do we know what the right amount of resources are to invest in a problem or product? How do you know when someone's selling you a bill of goods? I spent a good amount of time in preparation for this class wondering what tech literacy is. I'm still not sure, but I can tell you what it is not. An Intro to Computer Science course will teach you about algorithms and computations. Boot camps will teach you software development and engineering. But how do you get the tech literacy you need not to be duped by hawkers of bad technology, to ask the right questions, and to understand the systemic issues with technology in the context of government? In the course, students learned how to collaborate on open source software, writing code on GitHub and working together, building off of other people's code, and then participating in debate about where open source software could be beneficial within government, exploring cost and security implications, and evaluating real and bullshit arguments for and against open source. Many of my students were already quantitatively proficient. However, data sets given to you in an economics classroom can look like the bedroom above. Data sets in the real world often look like the bedroom below. So knowing your way around code can unlock those quantitative skills when data isn't pre-prepared and served to you on a silver platter. Sometimes the data doesn't exist in a nice package. Fortunately, if you know little something about the web, you can build your own data sets. Students in my class learned about the technologies that will teach you how to do just that. One of the most important lessons from the course was thinking agile. Rather than convening an issue committee and writing out detailed specifications, Silicon Valley types are often inclined to simply make a prototype and see how customers react and then improve upon it. Despite the unique constraints of working in government, there's often space for and sometimes a desperate need for this kind of thinking to cut through bureaucratic red tape. There's nothing like debugging code for a full day that drills in the importance of not wasting time developing products that nobody will use. That's your project there. The students at the end of 2 weeks developed a project like this. This is the Vermont Police Department showing how the distribution of traffic stops changed by race over time. This is a nice skill to have, but learning by doing, but I contend that the things that the students learn in the process of making this are what will really stick. Programming has changed. It used to be about going from concept to math to code, but now modern languages allow for more abstraction, letting a programmer think in code and use code as a tool for exploration and communication. Many modern apps encourage us to be enthusiastic consumers of technology. However, a special kind of change in mindset happens when we stop, even for a moment, passively consuming and actively decide to make. I leave you with this quote from Dale Doherty, a champion from the maker movement. Consumer culture disables us in some ways, and people can feel entitled, expecting others to do things for them. In the extreme, consumerism is a form of learned helplessness. In maker culture, we define ourselves based on what we can do and what we can learn to do. They're the practice of making mindset that encourages us to act and take control of our lives, and we hope to develop our own capabilities. We began to see ourselves as confident, capable, and creative individuals, and this, I believe, is the lesson that I hope students will carry with them and spread throughout the government. Thank you.
Give that man a drink of water.
Yeah, there's like the iron triangle of development, which is like features, cost, and budget, and scope, costs, and time. Thank you. And you couldn't sacrifice on time and refuse to de-scope, so we just had to move faster.